Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you another real quick tutorial. I refactored my code to using classes with Alamo Fire, which is what our basically what we were doing. That is our networking library that calls our API. I actually made a real quick app just to show. So basically, I want a beer seller. So in other words, you just make a little app that you get to store what beers you like. So just something simple like that. So I want to show you how it works with classes and how Swift works with classes. So real quick, let's go to our beer class. I have a few classes here, brewery types, and beer type. So see, this is how it works. Var ID colon and then int, and you need to have this question mark. That's declare it optional. You can actually even declare. You'll get into seeing some of that stuff with question marks and exclamation points. But I'll show you a little bit different. Question mark basically allows it to be, so it's not quite a strict typing, so it could be a different type of object, or in other words, you're not positive what exactly it's going to be. Whereas this exclamation point means this is going to be a string right here. So I'm showing right here on line 17, where an exclamation point means it's going to be a string. So I just showed you both how it works, and I'll show you the difference. I like doing it with exclamation points personally. I know I didn't do a lot of it here. So I just have a quick, but I'll show you more. So here's a quick constructor. Yeah, there's a lot of properties on this for these beers. A little bit bigger of a class than I probably should be doing, but just for simplicity's sake, I kind of made it into like a spreadsheet. And so here's where it works on, I have a service right here. So I have beer rest service. So I use JSON. I'm using that Swifty JSON and the Alamo Fire. So I'm importing Alamo Fire. So here's my little API call. So in my API call, I do var beer, and I do constructors like this, where you actually set the ID and you set the value. So you'll do object ID.int value. We did this before. We just shove it into a class, right? So that's all we're doing. And so in my database, all I have right now is one active beer. So I have a beer that I currently have in my fridge. And this is my API. This is my API I'm calling right here, the API URL. So you have a class like that. Let's go ahead and run it. Now I'm actually just printing this to the console, but you see right here, here's Two Hearted Awesome Beer. So I'm printing right here the actual beer name and beer description. Bell's Two Hearted is my favorite beer, so I decided to use that. But so it works really easily. Classes in Swift are so easy. It's kind of like Java. It looks like JavaScript in some ways, but it's actually object oriented. So the reason why I'll show you here. Remember we did that exclamation point earlier? Well, look at this. Let's go to their beer service. See, when you don't know, here's it right here. When you don't know that it's a string or not, it's going to be to return an optional. So it's going to put these things in like parentheses. You have to unwrap it from an optional. And I don't want to explain. It's hard for me to explain it. Read the Swift documentation on optionals, but just show you how in practice how it works. So you have, remember, name, we put an exclamation point. We don't have to unwrap it because it was already unwrapped because we were positive it was a string. Well, here, beer description, we want to unwrap. And now there are some advantages of using optionals, just in case there's potentials for SQL injection. In other words, or they put in some wrong type, allowing something for wrong types of data or something like that. There's values to it, but like I said, I prefer doing it exclamation point, trying to make it dummy proof, the software dummy proof. So that's the only difference right here. So when I call beer description, I have to do an exclamation point, and that unwraps it, saying that it's a string. We know it's a string, and since we don't need it right here. So that's what I did. That was my little refactor. I turned it into a class. Pretty simple, but like I said, Swift is a really good language. I think you guys are going to enjoy using it, and so there you go. This will be my last tutorial, and have fun, guys.